You live. It's Jane from Living Skies, Coloring Creative and Vintage. And I'm here. Hope you all are here. So thanks for coming. Just let me get myself on screen here and we'll be right back. We're going to talk about these books. And yeah, let's do a quick look at how I get started on my backgrounds or my pages, but by doing a quick wash. That's my intention. And we're going to take a look at what I've been doing in Mouse Guard. And we're going to do a little bit further also. So let's get going. I'm just going to turn on this light here because I realize that looks a little dark. That's a little better. I think that's a little better. And I'm going to close my door so I don't hear too much that's going on downstairs. So, 1 second. There we go. Hope you like the books. We are going to get started here now. So, anybody out there? Looks like I'm buffering. Hope you guys aren't. Hope you guys aren't buffering. I seem to be. Hold on. We'll get that going to where it should be. And I heard myself, and I'm back buffering again. What's going on? Yeah, not connected? No, that's not true. That's not true. Are you there? Oh, we get. Now I can hear myself, so I'm going to get back, mute that again. But I don't see anybody in my chat room. I don't know what's going on. Here we go. Let's open this panel. I don't know if this is, should be open. I have it up here. Let's look at some pictures and get some things going here. We'll start. And I'm just going to hope that things are going correctly because I can't see anybody talking. So that's maybe a little better. There's my chat. There's my chat finally. There we go. Get started on this. So I've been love bombing this Mouse Guard volume since I got it from my wonderful twin sister, friend, Coloring View, and I think she'll be so happy to see what I've been doing in this. So let me get started and I'll show you what I've been doing. I haven't done anything with the cover yet. I don't know about what I'll do with this because it's so slick. I might want to put some other paint on it. But I've been love bombing these and adding, this one's I'm going to consider finished. So this is the Mouse Guard shield. I envisioned this to be a wooden piece of art, like a shield. And then all of these characters that have been painted on the wood around it and the other things carved into it. I like the phases of the moon there. All of the shields of the different cities that they belong in. And then this one, I've got just some watercolors on there right now, a little bit of pencil up in the ceiling and on the sky. I'm envisioning this as a dawn, rising dawn picture coming up over here. And this is the fisherman, because I see his fishing spear who's been riding the kingfisher, and he's brought this load. And this floor here, I'll let you know what I've already done with this. So this has got some pencil on it, the background trees, and that bit of water. And then I've added a little bit of pencil shading in the shadow parts of the stone wall to go with this. And then on the floor, I had a wash of the darker blue watercolor, and all I've added on top of that is my white acrylic pen. White acrylic Guang marker pen. And these are good. I have a whole set with a bunch of different colors, but I put in the white over top of this to start the towel work. I might yet put a blue one in, but only a little bit of pencil on there so far. So there we go, getting that done. So come on in and say hi, please, and let's get going. Now these two pages, they're not done. They've only got a basic wash in them, so I'll talk about what I've done with them. So this here, of course, is the Blacksmith, and all I could imagine was the heat from the fire coming off and lighting him up, and then everything else being so dark. So I took my Neocolor 2s with this, and this has been kind of fun. Where are they? My Neo 2s here, and I just did a little bit of scribbling in there, and a little bit of scribbling of the darker blue color on the outsides to kind of get the darkness going. So this is creating a nice base for me of how I want to proceed with this. Now, here's one that I'm really excited about. On this, I used my Neo 2s on the snake and on the background. And then what I did is I've used my Ganzai Tambi gem colors to start the stained glass window. And then what I did is took the colors from the stained glass from that and just streaked them down so that I could get a nice basis for this light through the stained glass. So this is kind of a test page because it's quite a big one, but I want to do something similar to this page once I perfect my idea, and do the same thing in here, throwing the light down across that page. So I think, so with this being a little bit bigger, it's a little bit easier to play with. That's my plan. So I can continue with that. I've got some other flowers in here that I want to color or paint in, and then drag some of the colors again down. And then I'll put pencil on top of this to finish it. And it'll help. It'll help. This still needs pencil too. So the other ones that I've been playing in, and here's one that here's one right here that I've got some wash in. This one. So this one again, I just used a little bit of wash of the Neocolor 2s, colored in kind of like the flame, and then brought that color to the outside. Envision that, okay, if he's carrying this flaming torch, it's probably dark out, so I just did a little bit of black in behind him here and gave him a little bit of color darker on this side because it's in the shade. I really should have darkened that ear a bit more too, and kind of did a little bit of base coat in some of that. I see he's standing in snow. He has to be in snow, so I'm going to take some of this also and put a little bit on the snow-covered areas that are going to kind of reflect that light in the night. That I have yet to do, but I wanted to kind of get that other color down. And then I did this one. And you can kind of see again where I'm going with this. I'm highlighting all of what I want to be lit up and darkening the areas that I think that's going to be in shade. So hi, come on in and say hi. That's my son there saying hi. I've already finished. I used that same technique to start with this. So this has been finished with pencils. Not too much gel pen in there. I don't think there's any gel pen on this page actually right now. That's all been done with the background watercolors and then pencil on top. And then that is also the way I did this. Now this I think I started this on my live the other day. And I did a background wash of basically just the yellow, and then did some shade of purple in where the big shadows of the snake is, and put it in here. And I've since used my pencils to enhance those colors and the light coming off of the cracks in the ceiling with the snake reflecting on them. But I think that's a really cool picture. I don't know what this rock on a string is. I have a feeling that this mouse is going to be trapping the snake somehow. But he looks pretty shocked, doesn't he? But that does look like something that would be due to like pull. These mice are pretty smart. I've been looking at a lot of these pictures, and they're pretty darn smart for some of the stuff that they do. This was my very first picture that I did of them playing in the daffodils. And then I also played with this fella trying to create an atmosphere. And you can go back a couple of my lives. I just showed this one where I did just a nice big yellow spot there and dark blue all the rest of the way around. That's since been finished with pencil crayons and a little bit of gel pen to highlight the yellow of the bee and the lantern. So I've got a couple of ones that I can start playing with my pencil on here, or I can continue with this. But let's also take a look at my colorful time. There we go. So I was playing in this. We had done these pages in May, and then I kind of jumped over to this one because it was very similar, and I just finished this one in June. I shouldn't say so much. I used my Woomer and the Kuretake Ganzai Tambi paints to complete this. I think you can see on the page there, yeah, there's a little bit of iridescent paint that I put on all of the plates and the glass items, and topped it off with the gold around it to match what I've done on this too. Tempted to do this one because I believe that is this girl over here. Sure looks like her with the ears and the long hair and the bows in her hair. She kind of looks like the same girl, but a little different outfit. This would be fun to do. But there's a few that I know have been done in here by some of my friends that I could also tackle. Oh, I finished that one. There's one here with the serpent girl, I'm sure. I saw that Chris Clouet had done it. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing her name correctly. But there are a lot of nice pictures in here. Like I say, I'm tempted to do that one. But I did pull out, oh, these are the ones that View has done. Coloring View has this book also. And she started this page. I'm in have started a group called the Gugeli Coloring Page Pals for people that like Gugeli, who does this book, Colorful Time, and also does this book, Fine Color. Beautiful artistry in here. These two, a friend of mine, have already started. So we're trying to just, put our coloring pages in there and just have a fun time, showing what we do and, our interpretation of what Gugeli has put before us. Now this book I've had for a little while longer, so I've got quite a few more pages done in it, which you can see on probably on my Instagram and the YouTube channel. But there's a few in here that I thought might be fun. Let me start back here at the very back. That one. That one. So I thought this one would be fun to do. Love the face on that girl. She reminds me of the girl that I did in this book on the boat page right here. She reminds me of this girl with the ears. So I'm thinking I'm going to do that, make her that same girl with the gray hair. And this looks like a dragon tail, possibly this one. But I'm going to take a look. Might be that red and black dragon that I painted earlier in the book. This one. So that would be a fun page to do with different things. This one I know View has kind of started on this one. I'd like to try maybe a little different approach on it. I think these are Siamese fighting fish. So I'm going to look at different colors of what they come in rather than make them a goldfish. And these with gold lights, I might take an entirely different approach instead of doing dark backgrounds. And then, where's my other? There it is. Thought this might be fun. We were talking about different ways of doing lighting. This is a double page spread. Looks like we've got two cherubs here, two children here. This looks like a boy and a girl. By an image of Buddha, or perhaps Buddha himself. We've got lanterns here and soft silky curtains kind of indicated here with maybe, I'm not sure, I think I don't think that those are flames. I think that those are just tall trees in behind. But I'd love to kind of do a light up so that the shadows are at the top and they're uplit, you know, like when you hold a flashlight underneath your chin, that type of look, but maybe not quite so scary. And then there's that soldier down here on the bottom corner that would be looking up at that very imposing figure. So I think that would be cool. That, you know, and try different colors in there. Now, another one that I thought might be fun, and I'm gonna you guys can let me know in the comments below which one you'd like to see me do. I think what I'm going to do this weekend is do some more of the paint in the mouse guard. And if you let me know what pages you'd like me to do in colorful time, then or find color, I'll put a list down there and some pictures maybe, or somehow I'll mark it. And you can let me know which ones you want to do. This one might be fun. I see lots of mist and clouds going around this lady. I think one of the other ones would be more interesting at the moment. And then, yeah, this one has been started, I think, by View. And that's why I pulled this out, because this would be one I would probably want to put some of my drawing gum, the masking gum. This is my almost empty one right here. I have another one to mask out the flowers and the small details. And there's a big moon right here that goes around her head. And then do the background very much like I did the background of the dragon with a big wet wash. So I'll put those choices down below. If you like what you see so far, can you please give this video a thumbs up, share it out, and if you haven't already, please subscribe. I'd love to see you come back again. So I kind of like that one. That one would be exciting with a different lighting. So let me just put this one aside, and you aside. We'll pull over this one in the mouse guard, and I'll show you what I'm talking about with my Ganzai Tambi paints. Now I'm going to pull out these opalescent ones also because they would make some nice lighter colors coming through on some of these other flowers. Like I'm thinking maybe this opal violet coming in through here. One of these, kind of giving it a different color than the strong gem colors that we have here. And those will still create a nice rainbow for me and get me a good start. You can see at the bottom of the page down here how I've really just pulled the paint all the way across the page. So I'm gonna get a couple of brushes. And I'm gonna put those paints there. And I'm gonna get my little squirty bottle. Do I have any water in my squirty bottle? Nope. But I have some fresh water in my cup here. In my beaker. The mad scientist is at it again, using her beaker. Hey, Chris, how are you? Nice to see you. I don't know if you saw I was going through some of the Find Color and Colorful Time pages, and I've got a couple that I'd like to do, so I'm going to put a little list at the end of the video. There we go, pop. A little list at the end of the video asking what page we'd like to do next. I'm just going to wet my watercolors here. I'm going to work on this page. Don't want my page to get too wet, but I want these to get a little wet and just get primed so that if I want to use them, I can use them. Okay, well, I'll put the list at the end of the video, maybe even with the pictures. But if you go back and watch, you just missed it, And I'm just getting started here with showing how I was doing some of the stained glass window painting that I'm up to. I've been basing a few pictures with different colors to get some lighting schemes. And this is one I wanted to show how I was going about it. Now, what did I do with my pencil case? Put it down. There it is. So I want to get just a nice brush to paint with, which I think is going to have to be semi-small. Getting there. We'll use this one to kind of get into the corners. And then I'm going to use this one, which is a stiffer brush and meant probably more for acrylics than watercolors, because it is quite stiff. But I want to be able to drag some of that wet paint while I can. And that's the plan. That's the plan. So, what have you been up to, Chris? You were getting your food. Is that your lunch? Must be your dinner, your supper time by now. Because you're always ahead of me. Now, where am I? I think I want to do some of this through here, and then that. And we're going to do that, not with the blue. And that's going to be too overpowering. So I'm going to take some of this opal gold, opal copper, opal gold right here, which is a little more on the yellow side. And it won't be such a strong yellow pulling all the way through by the time I finish it. But it'll look nice. So what's been up with everybody lately? It's a little overlap there. You can always fix those later. Opal gold. A visit to the, oh no, an infection. Oh, well oh, it's not just 2:25. Yeah, well, it's the same time, I guess, as I am. You're always on way earlier than I want to get out of bed. That's maybe the problem. I'm getting to enjoy my weekend sleep-ins. And the joy, even bigger thing is I've got today off, and I've also got Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday off. Wednesday is Canada Day, where we celebrate our birthday, and the States is on the 4th. So our birthday's on Wednesday, and I'm taking Monday, Tuesday off. I hope you get better and you've got the right medication there, Chris. You know, that's not fun to have that type of thing happen. That's for sure. You can, I imagine you can't even really sit up properly. And is there anybody there taking care of you? Because you take care of so many people. And I include students in that. Oh, is that late? Yeah, it looks yellow up there. It's hard to tell when it's just straight on the white. Okay, so I'll clean this off a little bit. One more week of summer course. Yes, but then you go right back to work again, don't you? Can I make this a little bit closer? Oh, that's working. Let's see this. See if I can do this right. There we go. Get right down into where I'm painting there. That's better. Thank you, Chris. Yeah, I'm trying to do something new with this and use my paints to pull the color of the stained glass through like a light, and then go from there as to how I'm doing something. So I'm gonna just take this. I don't want it, see, it's still coming off a bit. Don't want it to be too dry, but I want to make sure I got a good amount on here because I want to be able to drag it. Okay. Take a little of the wet off of that. Just a tiny bit. Tiny bit. And then what I did is I just did this. Now this is a very light iridescent paint, but I can see it pulling across. I can see it pulling across the green, which is good. And across some of that pink there. So I'm just going to keep doing that for a minute. Do all of these. It's subtle, but it's working. It's working. You have to make a line at 6 a.m. at the clinic. Get the paper, take. Oh my goodness. Oh, deepers, creepers. Yeah, I thank goodness every day that I live in the country that I live in. There's no going to the clinic and then take it back to the school to get the permission. You phone in and you say, I need to go to emergency. And then you get a certain amount of sick time that you can just use. And then if it's longer, then you have other time that you can use. Now, I think I'm going to take a little bit of the purple, because I happen to like the purple. And it'll be a strong color to put up in this top part here, which is up here. And then you'll see much better how that pulls across to create the stained glass sunshine. Make sure I'm where I need to be. Here we go. Just going to do that right across here. Ooh, I missed that bit with the green, obviously. Now that is that, I'm sure. As is this. As is this. You remember, we're kind of looking at this stained glass at a very odd angle, up and up. David's very good at his perspective, I must say. Mice are always looking up at large things. Now, that's the roof of this house, and that's the body. I think I'm going to make the body in purple also. So this part here will be a little purple. And I'm trying to stay within the lines and make it look like it has the leaded canes of stained glass. I'll drag the light over top of those quite quickly. Oh, this is coming along. I like that. That was something else, but yesterday, oh, Chris. Yeah, it's, oh dear, that's way too much paint. It's hard to know, when is this really something? Should I go? But yeah, sometimes I think we all wait just a little too long, especially if it's ourselves. Now I'm going to put this purple in here somewhere else too. I think these flowers, that's a flower, that's a flower, that's a flower, that's a flower, that's a flower. There's one over here too. Okay. This one is right there. And then we got this one. And that's the opposite to this one. Yeah, this one over here. Okay, like that. Then I want to take a little bit more of the gold, a little gold. And put it right there. That'll pull through. We're going to make this building roof the gold. A little spire. Hi, Carrie. Ah, you're okay. You can watch from the balcony. I'm working on Mouse Guard. You missed the beginning. I'm asking what page we should do next in our Gugeli books. So you'll have to go back, but I'm gonna put some kind of poll, I think, after this if I can. And I want to make those rooftops gold too. Right now I'm just trying to show what I did to kind of get it look, or what I think looks like sunlight streaming through the window. And I'm quite happy with the result anyways. Through a stained glass window, I must say. So I'm glad you could come by. And take care while you're driving. Don't get all distracted. You can always catch up later. Catch up. Okay, so again, my brush is somewhat damp, not too damp. You know, because I want to be able to pull this paint. And I'm going to start over here with this purple up here, because that's where I started. It should be the driest. And I'm just going to pull it. Pull it. Come on. Behave. I'm picking up the green as I go by. Pull it. Fades it out a bit. Not working as well as it did yesterday. Well, I'm going to put that paint right back in there. It's taking off my green. Might have to use some pencils on top and do a little resist on it. I think that's what I ended up doing. I almost forgot. Okay, there we are. Let's dry that up a little bit. And we'll just come over here to this page while I get my pencils out and take a look at what's going on with this guy. That. There we go. In the fireplace. Oh, well, I know what you mean, Chris. I certainly was blessed. I personally bought one of them, and the second book, which was the green book, the colorful Time, was gifted to me by Joanne, such a sweet, wonderful lady, and I know she enjoys coloring in her. She actually had 2 copies. So she gifted me her second copy, so I was really $47 with shipping. Yeah, it's pretty pricey, but it's a beautiful book, and certainly lots of pictures in it. You know, I think you can also buy it to print off your own PDFs. To me though, I just kind of like, no, I want the whole book. I'm greedy. Just having a sip of lemonade there. Wet my whistle. So let me get out my pencils. And I thought that I'd work on some pencil work on this guy while we chatted. So get out my darker blue. Yeah, and it's pretty sharp. And I just wanted to do a little darker over here on him without putting my hand in the paint. Get started on putting dark on this side of the mouse. I love the pictures like this where you can get such dramatic shading and colors done on the page. I'm going to get out my black too on edit and my dark purple. And my black is there. And I want that one and that one. So this is what I'm working in the background with right now. I chose the black because there's some really dark patches back here, and if I want to get it as dark as I want, I'm gonna have to use black. So this is where I'm feeling I need to use it. It's in here. I don't know if you can hear, but the wind is really blowing outside right now. We have rain in the area. They said maybe a thunderstorm. That's not unusual for Saskatchewan to have thunderstorms or wide open prairies, and you get that sunlight, you know, warming everything up, and it starts creating these great big clouds, and yeah. So I know that is his tail. I'm gonna just not color that the black. I'll darken it, but not with this color. And then I'm just gonna lightly come in under here with some of this. We'll mix some colors in this to make it look a little more seamless. But want to start setting the fact that this is background and has more dark in it. Go back here, back into this piece of wood. In here. So yeah, like I said, I have been doing a little bit of love bombing in this in the mouse guard here to so that I could just, you know, kind of attack it with my pencils once I got some of my base colors down. That way I can take it anywhere I want. I usually don't like to paint too much in the living room. I'm a bit of a mess, or can make a bit of a mess. If you ever look at my hands when I'm doing acrylic work, you would be able to tell. So these are going to be dark because they're on the other side of the anvil. The anvil itself is going to be dark too, but we'll catch up with that a little later. I might use a different color for that. This is the floor, so we're making it black. Now, it looks like straw, but I don't know that it would be straw. Would it make sense to have straw floors if you were a blacksmith and had sparks flying all over the place? I don't know. I don't know about that. So we got some in there. I want to put a little bit back in here at the back end of this barrel. Starting to create the depth that this might require for to show what's going on. A little bit down here. Ain't gonna hurt it. And I want to get some underneath this. There, because that's going to be fairly dark also, but you know, if you thought about it, right underneath the open area under that lip, that's going to be pretty dark. So let's do that. The reason I left this white is because it's going to have a mixture of the light and and just the no color coming up against it. So that's why I left that white. This is again getting to the side. I'm not gonna. Just gonna do a little bit in here on the stone. Just faint. Yeah, I'm just starting to show what's in the background and what's not. That's his. There we go. That's the stonework. I can make that shape too. Make it look a little more 3D. But let's get some base color in here. You can see how it's kind of setting the mouse off from the background behind it, which is what you want to do, because that's your focal point. Is him, the hammer, this part right here. I'm just darkening what I think should be already dark, and David's quite helpful. You know, the less he shows of the background paper color, the more dark it is, or the more ink he's got in an area, which makes sense, I guess. But he just never paint anything too solid black. But again, I want to get this in here, because you can still see that. You can still see him. You probably can't, because I'm way outside the range. Sorry about that, people. Get back here. Yes, that makes more sense. Get back here where you can see what I'm doing. Sorry. Keep moving this around a little bit more. That'll help. I get so absorbed in what I'm doing is I forget to look up at the camera. Okay, bye, Carrie. Hey, Husky. Oh, were you thinking of me? Well, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I'm glad you came over to visit me. I'm working on a coloring page from Mouse Guard right at the moment. Just trying to set a mood for this page by getting some darks in where they belong over top of the wash of watercolor that I already did. Yeah, I've been not at a lot of the jewelry sales lately. I've been kind of more concentrating on this, but I am still trying to post more items that I have on my Etsy. Just darkening up these areas here that make sense to be a little darker behind him before I start putting any other color in. And I'm going to use, I have these I'm going to use in here too. So let's go with a little bit of the dark blue, kind of in top of what I already have here. And I'm just trying to create a little more depth. Oh, I gotta do that braid. Yes, let's work on that, because you can see the braid. So I'm gonna get my little pencil sharpener here. This is the quiet one. Gives me a pretty good point when I have it pretty empty. There we go. That's a Faber-Castell. I got that at Indigo Books. I think it was like $4 Canadian. So, okay, yeah, that's what I want. All right, I'm gonna go in here and I'm going to darken some of the darker areas around this Celtic knot braid that's going on. I'm going to do the outside part first, just to make it look like it has the shadow. And as I said, David helps a lot because he puts in the more ink in the area, the darker it should be. And I'm going to do the same on this side, just a little bit. Now I'm taking for granted that you guys don't really know what I'm doing, so I'm trying to describe it. I'm not a teacher, but I can tell you what I'm doing. So I've already, that looks a little bit more 3D to me because you're seeing that little shadow on the outside of that. Now I'm gonna do the area here. And as I said, David helps a lot because he will put ink dots where he feels there should be shadow. So I'm going to follow his lead. He's the artist. And it's not hard just to do that. You can see it's creating a little bit more of a 3D look. Use a light hand though. You can always add more later. You don't have to. Get it all done in one fell swoop. So we got that. As I said, take your cues from what he's put down on the paper. Now all of this had been previously gone over the background with a blue watercolor wash on my areas that I want in the shadow, and then for the area that I want to be shown as fire, it was Neo 2s I used. I added all the yellow and orange, and now we're just going to try and go around and make things distinctive. I've started back here. I want to get these guys looking a little more 3D before we go further. And just keep working on this page. There we go, that's coming along. We can go over here and just, because that same Celtic knot is here too. I'm going to do that. Can just kind of see it in here behind him because of the light of the fireplace, his furnace, I guess it would be, since he's a blacksmith. That's what that is. Probably pulls air in using um, that string there, that cord. So I'm just going to darken this up a tiny bit with the black. There we go. Let's switch to the blue on this chain. I want a nice sharp point one here because it's such a small area. So I'm just going to give that a little over top. You can kind of extend it a little bit. You know, the shadows maybe not as deep there, but it's moving. It's there. There we go. So I hope you all are having a nice, relaxing Sunday. You, Chris, should be taking care of yourself, and I hope you are. And I know Carrie was in the car. What is Husky up to today? Father's Day was last weekend, so don't need to be running around doing all that today. Next weekend is 4th of July. I know for my American friends. Our 1st of July celebration is on Wednesday. I've got the next couple of days off and plan to be spending them doing some coloring, visiting lots of people that I know online, and not having to look. Sometimes it's hard to watch everybody while I'm at work, but I'm glad that I can. At least if I'm watching you on the replay, I can just stop it and start again. But when you go live, it's sometimes I have to walk away and, you know, do the job. Do the job. That one just looks a little out of place. Let's just put a little black over that one right there. There we go. That's better. That's better. So you can see how the blue popped that out a little more. I'm just going to add some more blue down here. And I think in here, not the black, but I'm putting the blue because it's dark in there. He's got lots of dots. It's dark right there. Deepen that shadow. There we go. Yeah, it's raining outside, that's for sure. Put some blue right in there because that's the ground. Make that side of that axe stand out. We'll do a little bit of shading in here over top of the black that we had. Again, just adding another layer. You can still see that orange coming through. The warmth of that behind his shoulder. I'm going to finish with the blue before I go on to another color, and I forgot the black in this area. It is, isn't it, Husky? I really, yeah, adding dimension just makes things so much more fun. No house cleaning, good. That's good. there, a little bit on there. I'll come back to these as I need them, but I want to go around that, around here, because I'm getting out of shot again. Let's do this. Up here where I had started, you can see that. Bring that balloon down some more. There we go. I'm going to put some there. Okay. Let's use a little bit of the purple now. I love using colors. You know, a lot of people that they just want you can use the gray, and you can use, you know, all the browns and everything, but I love the colors. So I'm just putting this purple over top of that black and blue, deepening that shadow, extending it, getting it so that the outside rim has a light line on it, but you know, but it's not white. And then that kind of shows that that's the highlighted part of the stone. And I can imagine this stone being like a dark gray or something to start with. Now through all this use, the soot and everything, it's getting almost black in some spots. Seems to be adding a little more pressure in some of the darker areas. So I'm glad you guys are here and were able to take the time and come and visit me. There, like that. Like that. Need to carry on up here though a little more. It's always easier to come back and add more. You can erase. That's why I like to put the watercolors on, because it kind of helps me where I'm planning to do something, or I think I'm planning to do something. There we go. That's coming along. Let's do a little up here, because that's kind of going to be dark. So is that. I can hear that rain coming down. It's really coming down now. Steady. I'm just look out the window, which is just to that way, because that's where all that light's coming from. I don't see that the trees are waving around too much, so it's not too windy at least. That's all right. We could use, don't mind some rain. Need some more heat though. Get things growing. My sunflowers are just starting to just get huge. I'll have to take you guys outside again when it's nice, not in the rain, and show you. I don't know if you saw that short video that I did with yellow and purple. That's in my yard. Blue, that's the one I'm looking for. And the raspberry bushes and the bumblebees and the raspberry bushes. I love going out there, just being out there. I bought a hosta, another hosta for the yard from the store yesterday. I have quite a few. I have some under some bushes that I'm gonna have to move, I think, over to the other side, just because they're being overrun by other stuff right now. Not like that. Overrun by other plants right now, and it just might be better just move them and then deal with those other perennials. Oh, hailstorms are not fun, that's for sure. So I'm going to put a little bit of purple over here too, kind of against the edge of this side, even though we're going to have some light there. It's going to dark love to creep in. It'll still show like a reflection of the heat here. Now I'm holding the pencil, you can see way back here. This is how you get really light strokes. This is how you get really hard strokes. Move your pencil back here. Your hand's back there on your pencil. That can help if you feel like you've got too heavy of a hand. And you can get these really light layers, especially when you're using certain pencils. Prismacolors are great for blending. So for a person with a heavy hand, a Prismacolor pencil can be quite forgiving. But if you're using harder pencils, that can be not quite so forgiving. So use your pencils from the back end. Hold them from the back end instead of choking them up at the throat to get a nice light layer down, and then build up your layers with different colors, and it works. So I went over that with the blue, the white that was there with the blue. I'm going to do that up here on the F. On the F block in here. Because I'm still trying to create darkness in this area. There's going to be more color on this to make it dark. It's just going to come down a little bit. Because with the purple kind of helps you transit between the blues and the reds. So that's why I'm now putting some purple in here. That bit had some orange on it that I wanted to preserve. Just like that. Does it look like it's glowing a bit? There. Good tip. Thank you. This is Mouse Guard 2, Brittany. This is Mouse Guard 2 that I have. And I've got a number of pages going in this, so welcome in. I am so excited and blessed to have a copy of this book, being from Canada. It was sent to me by a lovely viewer from the States. Her name is Coloring View. And it's for her that I do these pages. I made a pact. I made a deal. No, I didn't make a deal. But we have fun teasing each other like that. So yeah, this is volume 2. This is Mouse Guard 2. And I've just, if you haven't seen me do any of this before, this now has a wash of, I used Neocolor 2s on the background just to create the lighted areas, and now I'm going over it with my pencils. These specifically are Woomer brand pencils to create more of the darkness and a 3D look on some of the stonework. And that's why I have these darker pencils out right now. Darker colors in the blues and the purples to help me create some of this. I've gone over some of the darker areas already with black. But I don't like to have it all black. I like to see other colors in my shadows. That one kind of missed that one. I don't know why, but we'll give them just a little bit of black and make them come right into shape with the rest of them. Okay, so got that. Let me see where I am. Shall we go to the hammer maybe? Maybe. I'd like to do some, I haven't painted any blue on this side, but it's definitely in the shadow. So I'm going to take my little bit of black and just where I know there'll be a little more darker of shadow, especially to create an edge between his lit up ear and the hammer behind. I'm just going to do a little light pencil work in the black to set that off just a touch, like so. And then I'll get into the blue. I'm going to cover up all that area, I think, this side of the hammer in this blue color right now. Again, remember, it's in shadow. It could be any color at this moment. There we go. Much better. Then a little bit of this purple. That's going to set it right off from the orange and the yellow. And you know why? Because they are contemporary colors on the color wheel. Right? Your purple is opposite to yellow. Blue is opposite to orange. So this is making for quite a dramatic change of color, because this is looking very hot and I'm hoping that's looking very cold. Or that's what I'm attempting to do. So there's his hammer. I'm just going to move this watercolor over, or water over, and then bring that down a little bit. There we go. So we can do up in here and you can see what I'm doing. There we are. And because this is further back, I'll strengthen that purple again. So you know what's furthest in the background can be Neocolor. And because this is in further behind than that, I decided to go over it with the purple, and I'm going to give it a little blue. So I'll have a deepening of color. There we go. Now what is this? This is some kind of, oh, okay. Must be a way to get the coal from one place to another. It's also the bellows. That's what that has to be, is the bellows to make that fire hot. Well, I've got a little bit of black in here. I'm just going to add some more blue. Again, just time to set the background off from the foreground with even more color distinction than just the wash. So I won't mind if I do this part of the bellows a little darker. I keep looking to see if anybody's talking to me. If you're talking to me, put it in capitals. Give this video a thumbs up, please, and share it out if you can. I really would appreciate it. I'm trying to build up my watch hours. There we go. That's looking good. We'll have to. I'm gonna just take this blue color over the rest of this fan, and then we'll start making the fan look a little more 3D with its veins and opposite sides. But I'm going to use the purple to help me do that, not the black. I might do black in the veins to show the sticks, but not to show the shading. But that's working. That's working. And you can see, yeah, a little bit of the firelight's going to get in there. Maybe. But it's a, you know, it's not that bright. You can see some of the light coming through. That on this piece of wood back here too, just to set off that coal bucket. All right, I'm going to take this black. Now I'm just going to color the veins in a little bit. Pretty sure that's the vein there. So on either side of the vein is going to be a valley. The veins are at the top of the hill, and there's a valley between each vein to make the fan. Now, if I thought there was going to be a dark side on this fan, it would probably be the valley side that is on the bottom, right? I think so too. Let's use the purple to do that though. I'm going to use this one I've been using. I'm going to take a little different purple and use this one instead on the blue that I've already colored. There we go. So I said it would be the bottom vein. So this is, or the bottom part of the valley, under the vein. So you can see that one is definitely it. So that one's up. This one's got to be a down, under. And this one's a down. So I'm not, you know, I'm not pressing hard. I'm not really trying to change the color at all. I just want to give the impression that that has a little more of a depth to it than it has. This should be like this. I'm just going to bring some of this up in here. Just keeping that dark. There we go. That's coming along. And I'm going to go back over that area again with the blue because it's not quite dark enough for me. But I don't want to use the black. Just color in the underside, under the veins. There we go. Here. So far I've just been playing in the background. I haven't really done too much on the mouse. I put a little bit of blue in his ear. A little on his hammer. Whoops, sorry, don't mean to hit the camera. I'm going to move this up a little bit so you can see what else I'm doing. Just move a couple things there. There we go. You can see, so you can see there's a little bit more shadow in this area that I've been putting in to pop that mouse out just a little further. I'll go back in there into the ground with some of this blue. I've already gone over this area with a bit of black. And I'm going to come up the side of the bucket with a little bit of blue too. In there maybe. I'd be right in there a little bit. There. Again, I'm going to stay away from the mouse's tail for now. I'm going to save him for a little while. I'm going to try and get this background pretty dark. I might have to darken it even more once I finish coloring him in, but it's a good way to get started. Lots of layers. Lots of layers. I'm not pressing hard on this. Just trying to get a nice layer of color down. In here. So I didn't put black up this part because it's a little lighter. Put some black in there. On his foot. That big three-toed foot he's got. Their feet are pretty funny looking actually. I've been trying to kind of make them look a little nicer than what they might appear to be, giving them little pink pads on the bottom, and you know, these toes nails claws look enormous, but I don't think they're that big on real mice, at least not on the mice that get brought to me by my mean old kitty cat. Because I'm just such a special mom. I get lots of presents. Every morning when I head out to work, I look, check the ground. Hi, Joanne. How are you? Nice to see you. I've been talking about you. I have mentioned you today. Were your ears burning? I was showing off some of the pictures I had done in the colorful time that you gave me so kindly, and kind of I've asked the question of what page I should do next for the group. So you'll have to go back. I might review them yet again, but right now I'm just kind of showing how I developed some of the dark and light and dramatic color in this book of Mouse Guard 2. Yeah, it's not available here, that's true. It will be soon, I hope. I've never been able to get actual mouse guard either, so this one was, like I said, gifted to me by Coloring View, and she has ulterior motives, I must say. Usually, and her ulterior motives usually to get me to color in it a little bit so she can watch and see what I do, which I don't mind. I don't mind in the least. I think, you know, it's definitely a form of flattery that she would like to do her pages like I do, and I take it that way. I try and make my pages uh, like I want to do them. I don't. That's why in some art books and art um, uh, videos, I don't get into it because I don't want to I don't want to color this boat. Show me a technique that I can use maybe in something that I want to do, and that's more like what I want to watch. So that's what I'm showing you is how I'm creating this type of page with such a high contrast in light and dark. And I tackled it using my Neo 2s, and now I'm using some pencil. So there you go. We'll continue to use the pencil to build up layers of light and dark on this. Okay, that's got, I think I'm missing, this needs to be a little darker back in here. I'm going to put a little more blue in there. I'm going to get that black back. Where is it? Black back. Just right in there. Need a little more contrast. There we go. There we go. So yeah, contrast between what's in front and what's behind. And I'm going to add a little more here, because it wouldn't look right otherwise, because that's pretty dark. I'll just put a little more black in there. And see, this is what I said, I can always add more color to it. You can't take it away. There, that's better. That's better, and I think I need a little more over here too. Just to create that deep, deep difference from the floor to the other objects. Still don't know what this floor is made of. Like I say, it wouldn't make sense if it was straw. But I can't see that the mice have much things that are actually fireproof, so maybe he just has to be careful. There. Oh no, Joanne. Oh, the bottom torn off. That's terrible. Maybe they thought it was money or something, you know? I tell you, I hope mine gets to Joanne nice. Or not Joanne. I hope mine gets to Janet safely for that big ATC swap. But I did. Where are they? Here they are. I did make myself actually copies of the cards. What I did is I made photocopies of the front and the back, and then I stuck those on the cards. So this is just copy paper, but I have copies of all the cards I sent Janet, at least. So hopefully She gets the originals. Yeah. That's awful. The quiche and the one she sent to Janet. I wonder if it's got to be someone in her post office then, right? Because she's got it coming and going. I've never had that happen to me. I've never had it happen when I sent anything to Janet. Never have had it happen when I've sent anything to one of my Etsy shoppers. Yeah. I wonder if it's someone in her post office, you know, because if it's happening, like I say, coming and going, it's got to be there. Excuse me, I have some lemonade in my little cup here to keep my whistle wet. Okay, so I have been working down in this corner. I'm going to bring that up a little bit because we're going to work on the, again, still working on this dark part. So these parts back here are dark. I'm going to reinforce that one with a little more black. In there. That looks like another hammer right there. It doesn't look like the wood, but we'll do some whatever that is. Like that. A little bit there. A little bit there. Just trying to get that back end in there. We'll get the blue, the dark blue. Now, do these. Do this. A little there. A little there. Forgot to do this part though. Because that's at the back. I'm not going to make it as dark as I'm not going to make it real heavy dark like this piece over here. Ooh, that's the ground. Almost missed that. Let's just get this ground fixed. Because I can darken that quite a bit. There, that's better. And then we'll put a little bit of blue on the back end of this. Now, if you think about it, if this is over here, the fire's over here, you can see, like in the direction of my pencil, that the back end of this is going to be dark, but so is this side of whatever it is, because it's here, so these are going to be dark on this side. So I'm going to take this blue, not only from the back end, just strengthening that black a little bit. Right up there. I'm going to take this blue and kind of lightly color in this side, going towards the tip that's lit up by light. Do that here. It's another one of his hammers. Must be for different things, eh? Do that. Handle. Strengthen the shade on this side, go towards the front. This is how I think about it, how I think about things and how I color them. Oh no. Oh, that's so nice of you, Joanne. you're sending them again. And Janet only received one card. Yeah, I'd be concerned. I'd be very concerned that someone's tampering with her mail. I don't know, what does she do? Does she take it right down to the post office and hand it over to them, or does she drop it in a box where she lives? That someone else is maybe opening up the box, able to get into the box and tamper with things. Maybe they like the ATCs that she's getting, you know? Maybe they're a fan. So, yeah, that's sad. But yeah, she needs to figure it out. That's a federal offense, both in Canada and the States. Just a little more on that railing there. Deepen that a little bit. Get the purple. Get the purple. And yeah, the purple really does help, I think, the shadow blend into the light of the fireplace reflected. The light reflected by the fireplace. Oh my goodness, I have completely lost my use of the English language. I can't talk and color at the same time, much less think. It's better. It's coming. See how that purple just really melds into that. I like that, how that works. I gotta get a different colored blue for the top though of these, because they're gonna be shaded also, but I don't want them to have quite the same depth of shadow as this side over here. The top part anyways. There we go. Get those done. Yeah, just do what you need to do, Chris. Like if you can't sit for long, don't. It's not good for you. I'm just going to grab another blue out of here. Let's take the ultramarine out. It's still a deeper blue. And I'm also going to take out this Prussian. Take out the Prussian blue. There we go. That's my Woomer set. Sorry, it looks all orange there right now. So yeah, I just took out a couple of more blues. I took out the ocean and the... this is the ocean blue I was working with. I took out the ultramarine and the Prussian blue to help me with the tops and other sides of this, because then we'll move to the anvil once I've got these figured out, which I think I do. I'm going to take the ultramarine and use that across the top first. Because they're not in shadow necessarily, they're just in the gloom of the shop, so they'll have some color, but not necessarily a lot. Again, color from the back end, give it a light touch. You can create a lot more layers this way than using a really heavy hand. Don't be afraid to put it into the orange. Just go back and put some in this side here. There we go. Those are coming along. I think this will work. Just gonna put a little bit of, this is the Prussian blue on the top here. There we go. Back. Just nice and light. Just want you can see the glow of the fire reflected off of the anvils, but it's not glowingly bright like it's going to be right here. How are they compared to Prisma? These are actually more of an oil-based pencil rather than a soft wax-based pencil. At least this is what, from what I understand. So, but they're fairly soft. They're not as hard as some oil-based. So you get a really nice, you can get a really nice layer out of them. And if you like to try the Woomers, I'll say this. I've gotten an affiliate link that I will put on the bottom of this video, and you can get an extra 10% off if you want to go directly to Woomer to get some. So I got the 72 set. Let me see. Oh no, I put that. Somewhere else. Yeah, this is the 72 set that I've got. Doesn't say on the box. But it's got a nice selection of colors. I still mix up my pencils with other items. You know, and just if I don't have the right color in this one, I'm going to go somewhere else. But I've got this pencil box sitting right with me, sitting beside me at the moment. So it was easy to grab. But I am enjoying using them. And this is working well on this paper. And the Woomers also work really well on the fairy tales and folklore and the fantasy world coloring books by Emily Liedal Oberg. Those two. Yeah, you don't have to dedicate yourself to only one pencil, I don't think. Yeah, you know, I use whatever works in any of my artwork. You know, if it works, it works. If it don't, I won't be trying that again. Anyways, let's get back to coloring some of this anvils and the hammers. There we go. Just darken that just a touch. And just have a little bit more of my lemonade. I like how he's coming out. I'm working on the anvil now. I've still got just these pencils out. Still just the Woomers, just my blacks and my blues. I'm going to take the black first of all. I want to create a little deeper darkness underneath this edge of the anvil, because first of all it's on that side and this side, so this is definitely the edge of the anvil that's going to be the darkest. But I'm not going to make it as dark as the ground. Now this side is also going to be dark, and this is like under the part of the anvil. That's not ground, that's actually its foot. And I'm just going to color this part of its foot with the black also. Put a little bit there on that spike here. And just a tiny titch of black here. That's his foot right there. I'm going to try and stay off of that for now. Because I might want to add color to him before I add more shade. I'm going to keep the background all in these blues and purples, and I might add something to show what he looks like, but I haven't quite decided yet. So now I'm going to get out my darker blue, which is the ocean blue. Going to go over those areas I did with the black, strengthen them, and then I'm going to do another little edge, just a little further. Keep that shadow going in here. So it's going to kind of outline that spike just a touch too. There we go. Still the darkest area of the anvil. Him up there. Getting there. Let's see. Here's this ultramarine. There we go. That's getting there. That's getting there. Just a little bit on the back. A little bit of the purple on the back. I'm going to keep this down all the way down to this foot here. This too. This area too. And I'm going to give this just a little bit there. It's just coming up off the floor. This is a little lighter blue. This is the ultramarine rather than the ocean. Pull that up a little higher. And then over here, same thing. Okay, what do you think? Mouse Guard 1, yep. Yeah, I think so. I think so, Joanne. It's really is nice paper, and I've been putting it through a lot of trial and tribulation. Yeah, this one had to wait. I tried, but then View was so nice to do it. Okay, just bringing up the purple on this side to come up to the glowing light of the furnace on the anvil here. There we go. Trying to keep the black out of this part. Now I'll take this darker purple. This is actually violet. That looks really nice on there, I think. So yeah, I don't know, I don't know, Joanne, if I mentioned what I had done with these when you got here, so I'll just say it again. I've been love bombing my mouse guard, and I've been doing some Neo 2 backgrounds on a number of pictures in order to prepare them so I can go over them with my coloring pencils. Really like where this one is going. Oh, let me see, can I make this bigger? Oh, let me see if I can do this. Hold on. That's a little crooked because I've been knocking it. There. Whoa. Make it a little bigger again. There we go. There we go. I'll show you what else I've been up to. I do have very generous friends, Joanne. I am blessed. I've been blessed with that for sure. Thank you so much. And yes, we're getting together again soon, but let me show you what I've been up to in this one. So I've been love bombing this with some of my Kuretakes and my Neo 2s. And I was able to do a couple of pages. This one still just doesn't have all of the pencil on it yet. But I showed you these. Used the Neo 2s in the background to basically set the flaming area for myself, and I think it's really coming up well. And then this one, I'm going to have to double check what I've done, but I'm trying to get the light through the stained glass window to show through here, and I've achieved it here. And I think what I forgot to do is actually cover up some of this with the pencil, which allowed me to go over the blue and not bring all of it down. You can see up here it's kind of changed a little bit in the paint, so I'm gonna fix that, and we'll continue with this. But I like how this is going with the different colors showing up on the floor and past the mouse's head. It's a technique I want to try because there's a page further on in this book. This one here, that I want to do something similar with this window coming through to the mouse, this mouse here, like this, okay? But yeah, I've been having fun in here. Here's a couple of more pages that I based. Yeah, so this one, just, you know, because I know the flame is there in the darker background. And then this one, the baker, kind of similar to the smith, this metalsmith that I'm working on currently. But I used a little different color palette. Went and made this very, very black, and behind him black instead of the blue. So, you know, this I'll be able to get in and work some pencil and even add some more watercolors. Now that this is dried, I'll go over this with maybe some brown and some other colors in here. This is another one, just dark side of the street, light side of the street, and color coming from the sky and all the wheat fields. That I think that's where they're in, because this says Fine Grain Mills, Harvest House, Fox Eye Tavern. Definitely, you know, you're in where they're brewing something. So that's my idea with that. I don't think I've based any other ones yet, but this is another one I just finished. Same kind of method, just basted in the background with a lot of gold and purple in this area here, and down through here. Used the purple to be the shadowy colors, and then went over top of it with pencil. And I think it's turning out. I think it turned out really well. A little bit of white prisma here, kind of show a little bit of shine from the actual lamp. There must be something else that's making that snake look so big and horrific. But again, not sure what that is, but I think something's going to fall on that snake. It isn't going to be, it's not going to be his end. So I'm having fun with this. Just go back to this page for a second. And I'll show you, again, let's look at these. This is Colorful Time. I finished this one. I really liked her hair. Had lots of fun with her hair, and then used the Kuretake Ganzai to create this iridescent on the plates, which I think turned out pretty cool. And and a little bit of the on her glasses too. So her glasses also have a reflection on there using just the Kuretake iridescent paints. And then this was using, yeah, I think I used my Woomers actually on this page, and it worked well. So I've been having a lot of fun in all of these books that people have been so kind to gift me. And I've been asking which ones we should do next. I had, where'd it go? It's not the, oh no, it was in the other book, I think. Yes, I know View has started a couple of these. That's an interesting one with the cat and all the dolls behind it. A little creepy. But pull up this one. Thank you, Joanne. Like, I liked the green dress too. I was thinking that this would be a nice one to do. Now this one's in Find Color. Yeah, this one's in Find Color, the red book. And this one, maybe this one. I know that one's been started by View, and I was thinking I might try a different color scheme and check out Siamese fighting fish and use those as the basis instead of making them orange. And where was that other one? Oh, this one, I thought. I've been deep into like lighting situations and how to color in different lighting situations, and I thought that this one would be fun because I'm just going to move those over there so you can get a better view. Oh, thank you, Kevin. Word up to you, too. Yeah, Dee Dee did that, Dragon Girl. Yeah. Thank you, Kevin, very much for dropping by. But, yeah, I was thinking this one would be fun, too, because I could see we've got some lights, some lanterns here. These, I think, are trees in the distance, not fire. So that would be nicely dark in there with him standing there. Silk curtains, and then an uplit on the statues and that are standing here. Now I believe this is Buddha, but you know how when you get a flashlight and you hold it up to your chin, that type of lighting going on in this page. So a couple of exciting things I might like to do. I might call that the Buddha page. This would be fun, but I'd have to do definitely some gum, using the drawing gum on that to cover up the flowers, because I do a whole background and a wash, kind of like the dragon page I did. But that's kind of what I've done lately in that one, not as much, but would love to do some more. Yeah, you guys should meet Kevin. If you want to grow your channels a bit, you should check out Tuber Chat. He's a fellow Canadian, lives in Ontario. We can kind of get together and we talk and chat, and he shows off other people's channels. We have a chance to connect with other people that way, and it is all about the connections. So it's always good to check in with other people. Oh, that would be nice too, Joanne. But yeah, if you want to connect with people, try connecting with Tuber Chat. He's got lots of people in his in his chat pages, and you basically can swap watch time, and you know, you do that, you get new eyes on your channel, and they have new eyes, their connections, it all works out in the algorithm. So the more connections you make, the more that you do. Yes, you go and check out Kevin. He's a great guy to visit, Chris, to grow your channel. So that even your Spanish channel, you never know, you know. But yes, he's a great guy. You can meet lots of people over there, and he comes on varying times of the week. But yes, I like to support Kevin, and he supports me, and yeah, he does a lot for the people in the community. So thanks a lot for dropping by, Kevin. And Chris, yeah, check him out. So I'm going to get back to doing a little bit more on my page here, my good old mouse guard page. Where was I? Oh yes, I was coloring this anvil here. I think I'll leave it in that little bit larger view there, and you can see a little bit better as I will scoot around from one page to another. Oh, I've been here for a couple of hours already. Just let me have a little sip of my lemonade. That's a lot of talking. Sometimes I forget what I'm talking about, but couldn't get back to the anvil. So I had been using my purple on it. I'm going to use this other one. I think this is the different one. Just deepen it a little bit because I want this axe, war axe, to stand out. The little tip that it's got down here. And I'll just continue this down here to make sure that that stands out too. It's all about connections and contrast and contemporary colors to create your contrast. There we go. I'm going to do a little bit down here. A little bit in there. A little bit there. There we go. That's just glowing now. Well, thanks for stopping by, Chris. I really enjoy having people come by. I can sit and color forever and just forget all of the other things I'm supposed to be doing, that's for sure. One of the more enjoyable things that I do, I have to say. Just going to come down here on this hammer a little bit. Start, because this is the back end. It's on the shadow side away from the fire, so give that just a little bit of this purple right now. Because that's going to be probably as dark as I'm going to want that. And something like that's going to happen in here too. Just on the inside of the mouse's arm. As it reaches his body, it will get a little dark. And that way we can also set off his face from his arm. So I'm going to do a little bit of that right here. And remember, this is the shadow side, so I might end up doing even more. how that's just... There we go. Oh, you do that. Thanks for stopping by, Chris. You take care of yourself. Be careful on your walk. I assume you're going for a walk. Yeah, be careful on your walk. Don't, don't do anything that's painful. Like, I've been seeing a physiotherapist lately because I'd hurt my shoulder a while back. I had my last session on Friday. He's allowed me to kind of go. I don't need to go back to see him anymore. But basically he said, keep doing what I've been doing, but with the exercises that he gave me. But don't go further than your pain point. Like, do your stretches, but never go further than it being painful. Just want to do the back side of his fingers there a little bit, because that's his little mousy fingers. You like how that's turning out? I like how this is becoming a little more 3D here. Just gonna that more. Like how that's coming. And then in here, little clues that you can get about what's going on. That's a little bit of a wrinkle on his glove. But it's also in shadow. So I'm just going to do this really lightly. Go back over this. And there, darken that up a bit more so it's more darker than that part, but not as bright as that part. See where my brain is going is that his head is in front, his arm is behind. This should be darker than this, but as his arm comes out, it should also be in shadow. So this should be darker than that. Then we've got his fingertips and that there. So that's working for me. Let's go up to his ear and see what's happening here. Now I'm not sure what that is. I think it's the back of his ear. I'm just going to give it a little bit of a kind of, like this bit of lobe down here on his ear. So we're just going to do that. I'm going to take this purple and darken up this part of his head. Again, not as dark as what's behind. If I have to, I can always make the background darker yet. This part of his ear up here and all the way down to here should be on the shadow side. And I put the warmth of that in there on top of his ear just so it could travel down and make for an easier mix. So I never worry about whether or not my underpainting's all that neat. You can always fix it. Okay, let's see if I can get a little more in here.